When I got out of the military, no one would hire me. I had my bachelor's degree from Purdue. I was working on my MBA. I was one of the top recruiters in the nation. I had this big ring. I had mobilized to Iraq during the start of the war. I got Soldier of the Year, class leader, all these accolades, and no one would call me back. In a 9-month span, I probably applied to 700 positions, and I actually had a good resume, right? I actually paid for someone to write my resume. It highlighted my accomplishments and my achievements, but no one would call me back. At month 4, I had my first interview with the CEO of a mid-sized staffing firm, and he said, "Hey, Tim, how much money did you make in the military?" And during that time, I made $90,000. You know what he said? "I can't believe we pay you that much." So talk about a gut punch, right? I'm already getting beat up in the marketplace, and then I don't know how to handle an objection. Then 3 more months goes by. I go on my next interview. It's just not a good fit for me. At 6 months, I extended my unemployment. One of the reasons I went back and got my MBA for all my military veterans watching this is they paid for my schooling and I got an extra $1,500 a month, and I needed that money to live off of. And thank God I didn't have a family during that time to support, because I don't know what I would have done. I was depressed. I was anxious. I thought something was wrong with me, right? I thought something was wrong with me. 9 months in, my friend messages me and said, "Hey, Tim, I know your unemployment's running out. I found a job on Craigslist that pays $12 an hour for an entry-level recruiter. Maybe you can start there and work your way up." You want to talk about a low point in life? Try coming from nearly a 6-figure salary, really extreme, really vividly contemplating an entry-level role. I applied. They didn't even call me back. They called me back 30 days later, and then I ended up managing the central Indiana operations. But prior to that, I flew out to meet the CEO. It was a company of about 400 professionals during that time, was the size of their company. Guess how many military veterans they had? You ready? 0. They thought military veterans were too rigid, etc. And I share this because even if you don't serve in the military, it's always going to be something, man. It's always going to be something you don't have, something you do have. It's always going to be something on these interviews. He gave me a shot, and I turned around that business unit. But most importantly, since I got into staffing, I learned all of the freaking stupid mistakes I was making that caused so much depression and anxiety in my life and self-worth issues. When really it had nothing to do with me, nothing to do with it had nothing to do with that. You know what it had to do? I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't have a blueprint. I didn't know how to get a hold of people that could actually hire me. And forget the money, right? We always talk to people about the impact of the money. Forget the money. Man, it was just the impact of like, what's wrong with me? Fortunately, I learned all of the mistakes by working at, an agency that had some good systems in place. I took that experience to then, now I know how to get a job. Hey, now we rolling. So when my brother got off active duty in Germany, he said, "Tim, I'm moving to Miami," and I decided to move there with him. Guess what my job search strategy was this time? Hey, what are the top 3 firms down there? A, B, C. Hey, I'm going to target those decision makers, present myself as the solution, figure out their problems. What do you think happened? I lined up interviews at those organizations because I was relentless. I knew how to brand myself. I knew what to say. So I flew down to Miami area, conducted those 3 interviews, got 2 offers, picked the best one for me. We're back in business. And I only enhanced my level of expertise in staffing, recruiting, headhunting, while working at the largest headhunting firm in America. After being successful there, I chose to do my own headhunting agency for 4 years. But here was the problem. We were making a lot of money servicing clients, but do you know the bad part about recruiting? Is you send 3 to 5 candidates, how many people get the job? 1. So for every 1 person I got hired, I collected a nice fee, right? But what happened? I had to call 3 or 4 people back saying, "Hey, Alex, sorry, they decided to go with someone else. Sorry, Julie, they decided to go with someone else. Sorry, Brandon, they decided to go with someone else. Sorry, Alexa." Man, it's not a fun job, in my opinion. I don't like calling people and delivering bad news, especially when some of the times I thought that they should have been hired because they were the best fit. That's when I canceled the headhunting company. And that's when I decided I'm going to start executive career upgrades. I'm going to start an organization where I can look out for the best intentions of the clients we serve, not the companies. Now, I don't have to pressure people into taking a job for $150K when they're targeting $175K, because if I don't, I'm not getting a commission check. Now I can tell the client, right, this isn't the right fit for you. Turn it down. And now I can negotiate for them as well. Now I have their best intention in mind. I've been in staffing, recruiting for the military and organizations for a long time now. I've learned every single way a deal could go bad. And I've put that in, and my heart and soul, and my wife's heart and soul, into the Executive Career Upgrades program. And since then, we've had so much freaking success. We peaked at number 512 on the Inc. 5000 list, being the fastest growing career services organization in the United States. I accepted an award in Dallas recently for being the 48th fastest veteran-owned company. We have a podcast that's watched in 64 countries. I have an Amazon best-selling book. Christina, my wife, has one as well. We've been featured in publications such as Forbes, Entrepreneur, Business Insider, and more on all things career. It's been an amazing journey. The reason I wanted to shoot this video is I want to tell you, I've been where you've been. I didn't know what I was doing. And I was looking for something to blame. Do you know what I was blaming? I was blaming companies. I was blaming myself, right? I knew I should have got my MBA sooner. Why are they doing this? Why are they not calling me back? Why? I was blaming the wrong things. I was blaming myself. I was blaming the company. Do you know what I should have blamed? The process I was following. Because strategies, just like regardless of your level in corporate America, they're either effective or ineffective. And most people in a job search, they are ineffective, right? But they stay with those ineffective because that's what they're told to do. Get out there and network, apply for jobs, apply for more, Tim. Just keep showing up every day. That's not an effective strategy. That's like running a business, taking a loss every single month. Why would you run a business, right? Imagine being a sales leader who every month sales are dwindling. Would you say that's an effective strategy or ineffective? So look, you have a choice. You can continue down the path you are and get the same results, or you can actually get expert advice. I know you're great at what you do, but that doesn't have anything to do with the job search. If you can't get clear on your target, if you can't have an effective branding document showing measurable achievements and a track record of success, if you can't get a hold of people that can actually hire you, if you don't know what to say on those interviews, and you don't know how to talk about money, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a brutal path for you. And I've lived it firsthand, and you may be living it right now. One of the easiest decisions in my life, and my first investment I ever made in myself, man, I was so scared. It was a Grant Cardone sales training program because I wasn't really good at sales, right? And I was in recruiting sales and I had to learn it. Man, that first $3,000 investment, I was like, Ever since then though, man, I learned so much from that program. It gave me self-confidence. And I'm proud to say Christina and I have invested several hundreds of thousands of dollars working with some of the best people in business through leadership, communication, scaling, etc. So one thing that I get confused on is I meet with executives every single day, sometimes high-level executives, ladies and gentlemen. We've helped a lot of people here at Executive Career Upgrades, and I ask them these 3 questions. What's your target? And be as specific as possible. Most people can't answer that. Number 2, why haven't you gotten results? Number 3, if you haven't gotten results, why haven't you gotten help? Don't be afraid to ask for help. Look at the most successful people in business. They have seasoned advisors. Look at a professional football player. Who do they have? A strength coach, mobility coach, a defensive coach. They have so many coaches. But yet I talk to executives and they think like they're above that, when really that's what truly unlocks to the next level. Why would you not partner with people that have already been where you're trying to go and they can lay out a process for you? Look, your family's depending on you. Your future company is depending on you. You have to get the tactics and strategies that actually work in today's marketplace. Otherwise, other people are simply going to pass you by no matter how much you've grown revenue, enhanced marketing, or implemented cost-cutting initiatives. And here's what I want to leave you with. A lot of people think that getting help with people is risky. Let me hit you with one of my favorite Warren Buffett quotes. Risk only comes from not knowing what you're doing. So let me ask you, do you know what you're doing in an executive search, or do you not know what you're doing? What's riskier, doing it on your own when you don't know what you're doing, or partnering with a team of professionals? The choice is yours.